Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild? With me, your host, Palladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Brave the Wild is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps and also on the Hockey Podcast Network known as THPN. Want to thank Dylan and Kyle so much for having me on board that wonderful network and website coming in out of Vancouver, British Columbia. Home of Marco Rossi, Ogren, and yes, and Zeke William, wishing them the best out there. But also, again, really appreciate being a part of the network. And yes, DraftKings is back. DraftKings is back. Things are signed, sealed, and delivered. Great to have DraftKings back in the fold. We'll hear from them in a little bit. This should be a 3-segment show. Going to talk about generally the Wild playoffs, then briefly look at the postseason. Briefly look at the other teams in the postseason, like very briefly, and then jump into fan interaction. So we'll try our best here. Yeah, we'll try our best. The Minnesota Wild are trying their best as well, but they're down 2-1. Yeah. And let me tell you, Game 3 is double overtime tilt. Kind of just felt like all more of the same. It's kind of the way it wound up in overtime and the behavior of certain players. It just feels like it's a broken record. We're right back in the same boat again, no matter who's on our team. We could have Gretzky, Lemieux, Paul Coffey, and but as long as we still have Marcus Foligno, Marcus Johansson, whatever, it's like, here we go again. That's what it feels like. Dare I say the Brodins and Spurgeons. I mean, they've been here forever. At least those two guys, well, one of them, not those two guys. Yeah, both those two guys advanced out of the first round of the playoffs. They know what it feels like to advance out of the first round of the playoffs. Oh, not Foligno, not Hartman. No. Even though they've been here almost like forever anyway. So they've been here forever and a day, and they haven't ever advanced out of the first round, which, I don't know. It's just something's in the culture that needs to change, right? And, yeah, basically kind of like paraphrasing what Mr. Bill Guerin said years ago. Well, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Breezy Suter leaving. Yeah, of course. But anyhow, let's move on. Game number 1 felt also promising. 6-1 victory over the Dallas Stars. 6-1 going into Dallas. American Airlines Center, which feels like a grindery or something for the Minnesota Wild historically. Or like the Rescue Rangers going into like a cat food factory, where fat cat lives basically, and they all get ground up into little, the whole goal for a fat cat is to have them all ground up into the little cat food cans. That's what it kind of feels like, the Dallas Stars versus the Minnesota Wild going into American Airlines Center. But, the Wild did the grinding in this one. That's for damn sure. Joel Eriksson Ek is the perfect. See, that's the guy that I look at that's been here a while, that performs every single time. He's healthy enough to play anyway. He performs every single time he's in the postseason. Kaprizov and Boldy performed as well in this one. Boldy with 2 goals. Basically 3 points for Boldy with 2 goals and an assist. Kaprizov with 1 goal and 2 assists, kind of exchanging things. And then the ever-important Matt Zuccarello, who would, we wouldn't get to have the luxury to have him, if that sounds okay. Terrible English, but 3 assists for him as well. Hartman, performing well in the first game. It just felt like the vibes were great. 13 hits from Yakov Trenin, who actually led the league in hits. It's like things would change so quickly after this one, but man, the vibes were good. You felt great. Faber and Hughes getting their 9 billionth assist this year, especially Hughes, each getting an assist along the way. And Jesper Wallstedt, who was, of course, put in the net. A very good decision, I think. Yes, it was a Samuel Adams decision, always a good decision, that kind of thing. Bill Guerin's from the Boston area, so there you go. You thought almost for sure, because the Wild made the mistake years ago when Cam Talbot was playing so well. Yes, the fire was lit under him, but so be it, Jedi. The fire was lit under him, and he's playing better. That doesn't mean, screw you, you're going to get punished now. We're going to put this other guy in who, great player historically named Marc-Andre Fleury, but was way past his prime at that stage when he came to Minnesota, and he had a to meet below average playoffs. And we talked about that years ago when Marc-Andre Fleury came to the Wild. Mr. Cam Talbot was like, okay, hell with you guys, and left. Or to ask for a trade, basically. He couldn't just leave on his own. But yes, he was traded, and the Wild did acquire Gustafsson in that trade. Ended up working out pretty good long term, but also kind of a guy who could kind of develop alongside Wallstedt along the way. Marc-Andre Fleury was still here to mentor and all of that and, start for a while. But, yeah, it was a mistake. If the Wild went with Cam Talbot, who knows? Doesn't guarantee a damn thing, but who knows? Who knows? Well, the Wild went with Volstedt, and we have a chance in this series with the way Philip Gustafsson had been playing off and on. Obviously, a few good games here and there, but generally speaking, he'd been playing very poorly. He'd been getting scored, like he was like beach balls are getting past him, as they say in the hockey world. The Wild might be down 3-0, frankly, or at least, well, we'd probably be in the same boat. Who knows? Who knows? With the way the Wild came out and played in Game 1, who knows? But Volstedt has kept the Wild in games. Like, these wouldn't even be games. Games 2 and 3 would probably have been much uglier. Volstedt did keep the Minnesota Wild in the game. He kept them in the game. He stopped the puck. Yeah, he does that all the time. I tried to tease him about that. But a good decision by the organization, the combination of Bill Guerin and the goalie coach, Chabot. So good job in that sense. But after that, the lack of consistency is kind of what we've expected pretty much since, 2016 pretty much. Or at least, see, you had our hopes up. I mean, this team, the thing that just drives me nuts about this team right now is we're not going to just necessarily just go game by game here. It's conversation. This is postseason. So postseason is even more emotional than regular season can be. But God, I hate Jason Robertson. Just seeing highlights of him I don't like him. He's cocky. I don't like him. His body language annoys me. Especially when he plays against us, he's always trying to show us up. I don't know what it is, but he bugs me. Okay, and it seems like I'm the only person who says that. But well, one of the only people. What was I leading towards? This team always disappoints you at home. Always. Even if you take the 2-1 lead, it's like, okay, time to go up 3-1, and then down the Wild went. And just like last year, Game 4, devastating. Game 6, devastating. The only time the Minnesota Wild actually looked like they actually looked semi-promising at home in the postseason was 11 years ago. 11 years ago, Devin Dubnyk had that, crazy season. He was like the Quinn Hughes of that year. The Minnesota Wild made the trade for him. Devin Dubnyk, not nearly as expensive and not nearly as big a name of a guy. So it's like we had no idea, but it's like he's got to be better than what we've been putting out there. Backstrom was way past his prime. My brain is stopping here. Darcy Kemper was getting beat 7-1 by the Dallas Stars, basically. Stuff like that. It was games like that where you're just like, holy smokes, man. So then you get Devin Dubnyk. You go on this great run and so on and so forth. And you actually beat the St. Louis Blues in 6 games. And you close out the series at home. You actually win a series that doesn't have to go to Game 7 on the road, and you close it out at home. The Wild did not have home ice in that series, so again, the Wild have never won a series where they had home ice advantage. This one they don't, of course, but we've certainly lost quite a few where we've not had home ice advantage as well. But it's like the underachieving at home historically with this team in the postseason is beyond frustrating. Though we've had some great Game 6s, okay, give the Wild credit for that. Kirby Puckett style. But, I mean, remember the Wild losing Games 3 and 4 at home after coming home 1-1 in both Vancouver and Colorado way back in the day. Just stuff like that. And then you have that Kirby Puckett home Game 6 home run type of performance. Like, we'll see you tomorrow night, or we'll see you in 2 nights in the hockey world, or 3 nights, who knows, but mostly 2 nights. But then there was that series where the Wild closed out a series at home. It's like it was history right there. And a lot of us, we acknowledged it at the time, but that's just, you sit and realize just how historical that truly is. Not hysterical, and it's not that funny, how historical that truly was, that moment when the Wild closed out the St. Louis Blues at home. Because that was the only time it's ever happened. And ironically, what took place after that, you figured, oh my God, the Wild are breaking through. We beat this good St. Louis team. We actually made them look pretty bad. Now let's get past the hated Blackhawks, and away we go. And about, 7 minutes into the first period, it was 3-0 Chicago. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's all we ever heard. And it was a sweep. It was just like, and I don't know, that's Wild history for me. That all kind of sums up Wild history in so many ways. Like, you finally break through after all the frustration at home, and then you just get, shellacked by the Blackhawks. The hated bleeping Blackhawks. It's stuff like that. And it's just games like last night when it went into double overtime kind of just feel like here we go again. Here we go again and again and again and again. What is this, our 15th playoff appearance or something? Is that how many times it's been? That's a lot. That's a lot. And I don't know, one conference final to show for it, two divisional rounds to show for it. Is that what we call it? The divisional round? You got the semi-division and then the division. Quarterfinals, division, conference, and something we would love to find out about once again. We'd like to learn about it again. Stanley Cup final or finals. 81, 91, and the next one is question mark. Still could be this year, by the way. Maybe the Wild are the reciprocal of, well, last year and the last time we played the Dallas Stars. You went up 2-1, and then you actually won a home game, game 3, and then you underachieved the rest of the way. Below game 4, lose game 5, and blow game 6. And it's bye-bye birdie, that type of thing. Makes you just want to, go insane. Heck, the Wild went down 3-1 to the Vegas Golden Knights, remember? All those years ago? Well, not that many years ago, but years ago. Went down 3-1 because you lost those bleeping home games again. Games 3 and 4. Tired of it. Stop losing games 3 and 4. Stop sucking at home. Or stop losing games 4 and 6. That type of thing. It's one of the two. You end up losing 2 out of 3 at home every bleeping playoff round. That's where my frustration is coming out. So I'd like to believe I'm backing it up with information and not just going on a mindless rant. I'd like to believe there isn't background noise driving me nuts as I'm doing the podcast. But I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It's been an insane frustration. It really has. It's been an insane frustration with this team in the postseason year in and year out. And then you see a lot of these familiar faces doing a lot of the same things again. Marcus Foligno flipping out, going absolutely ape-bleep all the time. Ryan Hartman, oh yeah, he looks promising. He starts scoring goals, but then he starts getting the dumb penalties again. That's what you're seeing more is the penalties versus the actual production. Penalties or production. Whacking the mic. I'm like Marcus Foligno throwing my stick or breaking my stick or whatever he does. Did he have just reason to be pissed off at Matt Duchene? Yeah, he did. But, dude, you went absolutely ape-bleep. And then game 2, I mean, what more can you say? Marcus Foligno has never advanced past the first round in his career. As far as I'm concerned, that's all you need to know. He has never advanced out of the first round in his entire career. Can we move on? Can we get rid of him? Why? Can we please get rid of him? Why do we have to be stuck with him forever and ever? Why are we married to Marcus Foligno? It's just... and then you bring in Nick Foligno. That tells you just how married we really are. You bring in Nick Foligno. Well, maybe Nick Foligno departs because he's just too old and there's nothing left. He's, at least he's got some composure. Some. Yeah, he brings size and such. He used to be a really good player. Honestly, he was always a better player back in the day than Marcus. He was when he was with Columbus, but I mean, but he only brings so much now. He's 38 years old. I mean, I wish it was that simple. Well, because Nick Foligno was an unrestricted free agent this summer. Marcus Foligno is an unrestricted free agent in the summer of 2028. So, and good luck trading him. Good luck trading him. You got 2 years to go. I don't know, man. Ryan Hartman, you got 1 year to go. So, maybe. You're not going to trade him now, of course. But, it's playoff Hartman, though. Playoff Hartman. Well, who is playoff Hartman? Okay, he'll score sometimes, and he'll also get some penalties that can really kill you. That's who playoff Hartman is. It's the same Hartman you see most of the time. Sure, he steps up his game sometimes, and then other times he just doesn't. And then he just gets penalties. And then you're left, holding the bag, basically. Dear fans who pay all this money to, in some cases, not only go to the home games in Grand Casino, but travel. Yeah, some of you that really, I just don't know. I'm from a different planet than you. I don't know how you do it. God bless you. I'm just from a different planet, that's all. Well, no, I'm just not as successful, I guess. I'm just not. I wish I was. But yes, it's still a different planet, You're from a more successful planet or universe than I'm in right now, that's all. Oh, poor me. Yes, I know, not really. Not really poor me at all. But, yeah, the bottom line, you're spending all that money to either go to games or follow them and go to games as well on the road. And you're the one left holding the bag. Like, who always gets screwed in the end? The fans, of course. Whenever there's a lockout, the fans get screwed. Whenever a player wants to leave because they're just too good for you, the fans get screwed again. Let's see, what else? Whenever there's a whatever. Whenever a player underachieves, they sign with this big contract and they underachieve, who gets screwed? The fan. The fan. And, well, the teammates, too, at times in that case. So you can just go on and on and on when you talk about that. Who gets screwed when the general manager makes a bad trade? The fans. You could go on all day. It's like, it's just a sad, painful truth at the end of the day. But I suppose every fan base can complain about something that their team has done over the years. Just sometimes some fan bases, some fan bases, some areas tend to get more than others, I'd have to say. Let's see, the Twins won the World Series in 1991. 35 years ago, this upcoming October. 35. North Stars went to the Stanley Cup Final. June 91. 35 years ago. Let's see, anybody else? Oh, the Lynx and the Frost. I mean, that's nice. God bless them. I just don't look at the Lynx and the Frost the same way as I look at the Minnesota Wild and the Minnesota Timberwolves or whoever, the Twins. I just don't. God bless them. I'm happy they win, and I'm happy they're making a living doing what they love. I'm thrilled for them, honest to God. But I don't know. I look at the NHL differently than I look at the PWHL and so on and so forth, and the WNBA. I just do. I want the frickin' Stanley Cup. That's what I want. I'd like to see a Larry O'Brien. Wolves doing that this year? I doubt it. I'd like to see the Vikings win a Super Bowl. Draft day today. That's how you help build that. At least the first round of the draft, since they, split it up many years ago. It used to be like a whole Saturday. That's too much. So, I can understand why they'd split it up at least a little bit. Into 3 days, okay, I guess. Hockey split it up into 2. The NBA could have left at 1, but they split it up 2 for some reason. I guess. God bless them. I'm going down so many rabbit holes. Do you blame me, though? I feel like I'm holding a bag right now, even though I'm not exactly the season ticket holder or anything. I'm not a season ticket holder. I'm a, dedicated follower of the team. Dedicated follower of the team since the very, very beginning, going back into the North Star days as well. And for a minute there, I kind of liked the Dallas Stars because they were, the only option pretty much, unless you want, you could like the Calgary Flames or someone else. Hartford Whaler, but they left too. Damn it. So it was easy to root for them, but they left too. They're the Carolina Hurricanes. Oh, goody. It's just, it's been an ongoing frustration forever. And ever and ever and ever. But we really appreciate Drew Larson-Eck, what he does bring. Jesper Wallstedt has kept the Wild in the games. Like I said, Foligno losing his composure again, and so on and so forth. Hartford was good, then started getting penalties. The other side of things, too, it does feel like the Dallas Stars are kind of playing a little New Orleans Saints style here. They're headhunting, and it's ridiculous. And one other interesting factor here is a guy over on the Dallas Stars bench who used to coach the Calgary Flames years ago. So I follow the Flames a bit, and so it's like he was a familiar face and all that. Remember years ago, some of you that have, that you follow hockey pretty closely, and you have NHL Network, or even you don't, but maybe ESPN or whatever, because it was everywhere at the time that it happened, when Calgary put out their entire fourth line. They were going to play the Vancouver Canucks with Coach John Tortorella on the other side. All fourth liners, like the big tough guys that are basically out there for physical or fighting or whatever you want to call it. And then John Tortorella saw that and said, "Okay, you son of a blank," and put all of his fourth liners out there. And it was like, here's the face-off, and it's 5-on-5 fighting. Actually, 6-on-6 if you include the goalies. It was historic, a very historic moment. And John Tortorella pointing his finger and yelling and cursing all the words he could at the same coach. So it's like, this guy he appears to be a headhunter, no doubt about it. And that would be a less familiar name to most people, I would have to say, but he's out there. Glenn Gullickson, who actually was hired on July 1st, 2025. So, he took over, of course, Mr. Pete DeBoer was let go after he basically was like bleep Ottinger, he's letting us down, that type of thing. Well, we could use Ottinger letting the Stars down. That would be great right now. He did in Game 1. The Wild took care of him pretty good in Game 1, but since then, Ottinger's been extremely good, and it's been a tough one. It's been a tough one to say the least. We can look at Game 2 a little bit. Game 1 was wonderful, but then Game 2, obviously very frustrating to say the least. Ultimately a 4-2 loss, but it was like a 3-2 game, and then the empty netter type of situation, those type of things. Under was completely different in the game. A lot of people would tell you that Kaprizov and Boldy have kind of vanished off the face of the earth since then. Of course, Boldy getting the hit to the back of the head to Jamie Benn in game number 3. Thank you very much. Foligno. What was his name? That would be a guy by the name of Zuccarello getting hit in the head, in the ear in game number 1 after he had 3 assists, and he hasn't returned. Big loss right there, obviously. I can't imagine that's helped the Wild's offense at all, and the Wild's offense has sputtered greatly. Boldy and Kaprizov were healthy in this one, but still, again, Zuccarello's one of those kind of guys. He makes that extra little play that can change things greatly. Foligno, again, also just kind of losing his mind out there, and the frustrations getting to him way too much. Trennan, don't know if he broke his nose or some other upper body injury, arm, shoulder type of situation, but yeah, there was the bloody nose. Trennan seems like the kind of guy that would be right out there with a broken nose, especially in the next game, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So unfortunately, no Trennan. Obviously, the rest of game 2, he was declared out pretty much right away, and then game 3, he was just out. And Zuccarello, of course, remained out after getting hurt late in game 1. So extreme frustrations. Faber with a couple goals, including putting the Wild back in it with a 3-2 game. Beautiful shot by Brock Faber. That was his second goal of the night. He was assisting on both of those along the way, he did. And the Wild had every chance to win it, but then ultimately, again, it just didn't work out. A shot from God knows where somehow went all the way to the net. Quinn Hughes couldn't keep up with it, couldn't keep up with the puck, and it went to the net, and the game was over. Extreme frustration. Wallstedt, again, kept the Wild in this one in a big way, stopping 28 of 31. Really appreciate what he was able to accomplish. An extremely frustrating loss, and yes, Foligno making a fool out of himself as he did, as he is wont to do. Under stopping 28 of 30 shots. Save percentage of 93.3. Looking like the Ottinger that they love there in Dallas. Much to our extreme frustration and anger. And of course, again, game 3, we'll look at it a tiny bit again. Like I talked about it for the most part already, but extreme frustrations. Matt Duchene, if you already didn't like him, which a lot of us haven't already, going all the way back to Colorado and such. I don't like Matt Duchene. His name sounds very similar to a word people use all the time when they describe somebody they don't like. His last name. We don't need to go there. We can, though. Extremely frustrating guy to play against. Assisting on one of the late goals and then scoring again in overtime, in the double overtime. Assisting, though, on the one that tied it up. And we're all just frustrated as all hell. And again, Foligno pissed off at him as he basically kind of put up a shot, almost hit Foligno in the head, and then ultimately collapsed and fell on Foligno, which then pressed Foligno's face into the ice as he fell. Foligno then throwing his helmet and acting crazy. I don't know. I don't blame him for being angry and frustrated in that moment, but I don't know. Sometimes you got to have a teeny tiny bit more composure if you truly see yourself as a leader of the team, a leader, like one of the 3 guys, one of the captains, one of the alternates at the very least. You got to have some composure out there, particularly in the postseason. But we're seeing the same act every single year in the postseason. It seems like Foligno just absolutely goes nuts. There was a tell-on years ago with Andy Reid when he was at the Eagles. He would change. Here come the playoffs, and he would change. He'd go from a guy who was relatively calm to a screamer. And similarly with Brad Childress, the Minnesota Vikings coach. Like, here's the big moment, and he's gone from a guy who's kind of, okay, like that, to just screaming all the time, and people were like, what's up with this guy? And that's kind of, it appears to be what Foligno is. Becomes the big game, and he turns into, like, I don't know, crazy. And I don't think it's helped the Wild at all. If, you just wish you could do something, but, well, there's 2 years remaining on the contract after this year, and I don't know. I think it's time to part ways if you can, but I don't know. We just seem married to him, and it's stupid. It's extremely frustrating. Oh, he's gritty. He's tough. He's a leader. Okay. Well, I mean, he's never gotten out of the first round, folks. That's, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, he's never gotten out of the first round. A guy who was a wonderful acquisition was Michael McCarron. Love what he's provided. Again, scoring a late goal, which had us thinking we're going to win this thing. We were so excited, so happy, and then ultimately it didn't happen that way. It just didn't turn out that way. Dallas would tie it up, as we saw. We're all just pissed off like you couldn't believe. Wild would have chance after chance after chance. There was a situation where it looked like Boldy could have possibly scored standing up if he could have just gotten the angle correct. He was kind of like skating a certain direction. The puck was wide open. I mean, the net was wide open. The puck was kind of sliding away. I believe it was a Quinn Hughes shot on net type of situation. Boldy got tangled up just enough that he could not get his stick on the puck to put it in and end the game in overtime. I'd like to believe this train coming is the Wild's postseason run, and there's no stopping the freight train, but I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't think the Stars are going to any Stanley Cup final. I don't. I think they're dead if they get past us, but I'm sure they probably would be saying the same thing on their podcasts over in Dallas, the greater Dallas area, because this is greater Minneapolis, St. Paul, right here in Golden Valley. Coming Brave the Wild, that's where we're coming from there. But that's kind of, it's just heartbreaking. You see stuff like that. I believe McCarron also hit a post that could have ended the game as well. It was a tough angle, but still, it breaks your heart, It truly does. Bobby Brink, I thought he had opportunity after opportunity, but they just ultimately did not officially even count his shots on goal. They were all blocked, which is really annoying. Drew Larson obviously giving it everything he's got. It feels like this team can't win a bleeping face-off either. Like, Hartman was horse shit in the face-off, pardon my French. He won 5 and lost 16. Less than 24%. Win a frickin' face-off. I almost dropped an F-bomb. But then there's one guy who actually can win face-offs, and his name is Joel Eriksson-Ek. 27 and 13. He was about 68%. Well done, young man, as they might say. Nick Foligno did win one late, but he was pretty meh as well, 3 and 5. But one of those 3 was decent. Yurov, 1 of 7. And he also had the extremely costly delay of game penalty, accidentally putting the puck out of play late, flipping the puck over the boards, as we like to call it. And, the Dallas Stars would score on the power play, and Wild are down 2-1 in the series. That's all you need to know. Well, so far in these first 3 games, the Mike Modano Award is going to go to Joel Eriksson-Ek, possibly, and then an honorable mention to Jesper Wallstedt for keeping the Wild in these games. Tough games here, folks. Tough games. The James Shepard Memorial Popcorn Maker is a guy who should be eating popcorn right now, making it and eating it, and that's Marcus Foligno. Marcus Foligno should be making and eating popcorn right now, and I think they could add a little alternate to the chest of a guy by the name of Quinn Hughes. Might as well go ahead and do that. Was he on the ice too much? Yes. 43 minutes and 47 seconds. He was on the ice too much. Yes, it's a double overtime game. But you think this is a quadruple overtime game when you see that kind of... I mean, that's crazy, man. 43.47. That's a lot. 43 minutes, 47 seconds. 0.47? What am I talking about? That's a lot, though. It's too much. He created opportunities. He put the puck on net. Only won it with 1 assist. Felt like he probably deserved better. I thought he played a hell of a game, but damn. That's all I got to say about that. Honorable mention for the Modano Award, for sure. He always is. And Brock Faber, obviously, as well. He has arguably been the best defenseman on the team overall. Like, defense combined with offense. Like, Quinn Hughes is the best offensive defenseman. There's no doubt about that. And he's been that in this postseason. But Faber's been right there on the offensive side. And defensively, he's the king. He's the king of the Wild's defense. And there's no doubt about that. So Faber actually could possibly bring in... Yes, I'm going to give Brock Faber a Modano Award to go with Joel Eriksson-Ek. That's how good Brock Faber has been. And, my God, we're lucky to have him. Brock, we are so lucky to have you. Never leave us. Please never leave us. Stay forever. Win a couple cups. And, man, and just seeing Quinn Hughes and Faber together with when they did we're in the Olympics and winning the gold medal. You wish it can be a Stanley Cup as well, and I hope that day does come. Maybe even this year, but sometime very soon. When we get a number 1 center, right? Yeah, I know. And the Twins are going to get a number 1 pitcher, too. And the Vikings are going to have the next Tom Brady. It's going to happen. I hope. I hope. I hope it does. But I don't know. I'm getting frustrated with... Yeah. But I do think the Wild have somebody who is at bare minimum, a wonderful de facto number one center, and that'd be a guy by the name of Drew Larsenek. At very least, he's an outstanding number two center. With that, we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back for a brief look around the league, and then ultimately the fan interaction. And we are back here on Brave the Wild, segment number 2. We're going to look at the league, but briefly, we're going to welcome back DraftKings right here and right now. No sport flips faster than hockey. One power play, a goalie pulled with 2 minutes left, and everything changes. Kind of like he's flipping the puck over the boards, and then Dallas scores, and I don't want to get to that. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for that kind of chaos with live betting from puck drop to the final buzzer. And DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. Oh, if only the Wild could have exited early as well. No, I'm kidding. After they took that 3-2 lead. If you place a pregame player drop bet and your player starts the game but leaves in the first period due to injury, like Trennan, and doesn't return, you'll get your bet back in cash. How nice is that? No bonus bets, no opt-in, just real protection when injuries happen early. New sportsbook customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready for the moment. That's code THPN. Turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. That's a new one. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age in most states, void in Ontario, restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see dkng.com/audio. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026 NHL. All rights reserved. Oh, if only you could pull bets on certain... Okay, let's get off of that. With certain players or something out there with the Wild. Eastern Conference, you got a great one here. Buffalo and the Boston Bruins. This is a great series. Heck, winner of this series might go to the Stanley Cup Final. What do you think of that? They just might. It's tied 1-1. You had a 4-3 dramatic game, Buffalo and Boston in game number 1. Game number 2, you had a 4-2 win. I'm sticking with the Sabres, but man, that's going to be a tough one. Man, it's a great series. Tampa Bay, Montreal, epic stuff. I mean, stuff like this. These two series here, and even the Wild series with Dallas, it's dramatic. It's very dramatic. Stanley Cup playoffs are the best of all time. The best of all time. Best. I mean, heck, NBA first round, you have teams losing 20. You have teams getting beat by 25 points sometimes. Second round and third, okay, it can get better, but hockey, it feels like it's like this all the time. Like, very rarely you have like, this is like a joke. It's a 5-1 win every other game, and then it's 4-0 or gentleman's sweep. Montreal and Tampa Bay. One of these two teams might go to the final. They just might. Similar situation. In fact, it's almost like exactly the same. Of course, Montreal beating Tampa Bay in overtime in Tampa Bay, 4-3, and the next one you have a 3-2 overtime win by the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, man, looking like the 91 World Series here, Montreal and Tampa Bay, but it's just the first round. See, it's cool, but at the same time, I can imagine the frustration for the players and the fans. Like, look at all this drama. This feels like we're in the Cup final. It's the first round. That's it? Oh, man. Well, the other two Eastern Conference series are being beat. There's the other teams winning a little bit better. Carolina winning 2-0 in the first game. Fredrik Andersen getting it done there. And then you had a 3-2 double overtime win for the Carolina Hurricanes to go up 2-0 over the Ottawa Senators, who they look really good, but then again, Carolina is arguably the best team in the Eastern Conference. Arguably. I mean, you got Tampa, you got Montreal, you got Buffalo. So there's definitely competition. It's no shoo-in for the Carolina Hurricanes, but they're looking good to open things out versus Ottawa. They're at least winning the games. And another team that's winning games and doing great and is putting a big smile on my face is the Philadelphia Flyers. I know a lot of people think, oh, Pittsburgh, yeah, but I think there's a number of you as well that are like, I'm sick of the Penguins. Just go away. I'm sick of them. Go away. My hand's raised. I'm not a fan. Go away. Philadelphia Flyers all the way, and it's Philadelphia all the way, all right. 3-0, baby. Couple of close games as well. The first game was close. It was definitely back and forth. Felt like Pittsburgh was going to win, and then Philadelphia pulled late, scored late, and ended up wrapping it up 3-2. That was awesome. That was on Saturday night, April 18th. Great win for the Philadelphia Flyers to open things up. And then you had a 3-0 shutout to go up 2-0 to put them in the driver's seat and come back home, and they look better than they ever have in the series. A 5-2 butt kicking over the Pittsburgh Penguins in Game 3. The Philadelphia Flyers looking to possibly sweep the Pittsburgh Penguins on Saturday. So wonderful seeing what the Flyers were able to accomplish. They have to wait till Saturday to play one more game in Philly. And I say go Flyers all the way. Heck yes. Go Flyers. It'd be great to see them get the job done. Have a soft spot for the Flyers over the years because of those cup finals and all that. And guys like Brian Propp. I don't know. I keep talking about Brian Propp. Yeah. I just, there's certain players you just identify with for whatever reason. And you just like them. And you wish they could have won a cup or whatever. Or you were so happy when they did, like certain guys. I so wish Brian Propp could have won a Stanley Cup. And I mean, I loved him with the North Stars. I really did in the brief time he was here. Just certain guys. Kind of like in a way, like Bobby Brink. He was with Philadelphia, kind of a shorter guy, but happened to be from Minnetonka, I believe. So, yep. I don't know. Different players, though. Propp was extremely skilled. Brink, I think, there's skill, but not Brian Propp level. He's more of a third liner, where Propp is at least a number 2 line guy, like second scoring line type of guy. Really nice player. Speaking of the North Stars, there they are in the Stanley Cup Final versus the frickin' Islanders, and guess who scored on the other? Of course, it's the Islanders scoring against the North Stars. Imagine that. Great run for the North Stars. Extremely young team. I did an episode on them back in 2020 in May. Check it out if you can. It was a fun one. There were so many young, talented players on that North Star team, but they ran into a dynasty in the end. It's just like, dadgummit. I mean, the Islanders won 4 cups in a row, for Pete's sake, and we were the team that gave them their second. Anyhow, Edmonton-Anaheim over in the Pacific Division. A little bit of back and forth. Some people thinking Anaheim is this meh team, but they're showing up to play. I mean, they almost beat Edmonton in Game 1. Oilers win 4-3, not 4-0, 4-3. But then the Ducks come back and well, not literally, but maybe a little bit, beat the crap out of the Oilers 6-4, taking advantage of a meh goaltending situation that Edmonton has had since, forever, basically. Since at least they had Rolifson, who took them to the Cup final all those years ago before getting injured in Game 6. Poor guy. Man, poor guy. 6-4, yeah, that's another guy, I wish could have got one. 6-4 win by the Ducks, and that's a 1-1 series tie. Yep, I still think Edmonton wins it, but maybe in 7. I'm sticking with all the picks I've had so far. Yeah, Philadelphia, though, that might be a 4 or 5 type of deal. And that's the one that might be altered. Where Carolina's probably a 5-gamer. Tampa Bay, yeah, I think that's a 7-gamer. Tampa in 7. I might go with the Canadiens in 7, actually. I'm going with Montreal in 7. I'm changing that one. Buffalo in 7 over Boston. Yep. Vegas and Utah. That's a great series, too. And I even posted on the Brave the Wild Twitter about how just think 3, back. Well, let's imagine in 2014 you go back in time, like the DeLorean or whatever, and then or say it's the opposite. You're in 2014 and you go to the future, to this year, this playoffs, and it's like Vegas Golden Knights versus the Utah Mammoth. What? That's interesting. Oh man, Darcy Wahlkock. Oh, that brings back memories. Keith the Chuck scored on Darcy Wakaluk. I like Darcy Wakaluk. He was on the North Stars. That's another player right there that I'm like, you have that soft spot for him. Underrated goalie. Nope, this is a good series too. Vegas winning 4-2 in the first game. Looks like John Tortorella is never going to lose a game with the Golden Knights. Holy cow. Well, they did. They lost 3-2, game 2, Golden Knights. I'm sticking with it, a close one. It's going to be a long series. It's going to be like 6 or 7, but I think the Golden Knights end up winning by a narrow margin and possibly go to the West Final. But, you know, they'll be extreme underdogs no matter who they play in the West Final, though they'll get probably beaten in 5 then at the end of the day. Yes. But it would have been interesting to like Vegas and Utah in the those are interesting teams. Dallas and Minnesota. Yep, I'd like to believe the Wild can still win it in 6 or 7. And yes, they can. Yes, they can. Just, you know, keep your composure. Execute, I guess, better. I don't know what else to say. Hopefully get solve. Jake Ottinger, easier said than done. I'll stick with my pick, Wild in 7. With my fingers crossed is all I can say about that. The final one, Colorado and the Avalanche, of course. Yes. Did I say Colorado and the Avalanche? Colorado and the Los Angeles Kings. The Avalanche have won 2 extremely close games. The Kings have definitely given it everything they've got. This series could turn quickly in Los Angeles. You never know. This might end up becoming a longer series as it does shift to Los Angeles, and that is tonight, which should be a late game, right? Yep, 9 p.m. Central Time. Good. I'll take the late games. They're totally cool with me. You know why? That means there's another game. You know, even if you are home, like a normal time, like 6, 7 o'clock, or, you know, you're there to watch a 6, 7 o'clock game, you can watch another one. You don't necessarily have to pay attention to it the entire time because it's not your team. It doesn't have to be like a religion or anything, but it's fun to have at least on for curiosity in the background and all of that. I'm sticking with the Avalanche winning, but I think it could go 6 or 7, though. We'll say 6. Avalanche in 6. A couple of close losses, including an overtime 2-1 win. Avalanche are winning games, and their goaltending is amazing. Where just a few years ago, it was below average. You know, they were kind of like the Edmonton Oilers, like scoring goals like crazy, but the goaltending stunk. And then they get the goaltenders they've gotten, and it's definitely been a different game for the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, you know, Wedgwood's been wonderful, man. Scott Wedgwood has been wonderful. 96% save percentage, and Forsberg's been pretty good for the Kings as well. Anton Forsberg, who used to be the starter with Talbot in Ottawa years ago. No, not Talbot. I keep saying Talbot. No, yes, well, he was there too. He was still there with Talbot, yes. But I mean, he was the starter over Gustafson years ago in Ottawa. Sorry. But there's that. So we'll take a quick break and come back for fan interaction. And we are back here on Brave the Wild fan interaction segment at Brave the Wild, and when you do the hashtag BTWMN, it keeps things nice and organized, and it's greatly appreciated. I want to thank all of you that retweeted or reposted. It means a lot, and yeah, it's awesome. Thank you so much. Can't thank you enough for that. And a couple of new followers as well. Thank you so much. Awesome to see you jumping on board the show. It's appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying what you're listening to and don't think it's too bad. The Derek Felska lightning round hath returned. Da. Always love hearing from Derek, coming from the Crease Assist podcast. Crease Assist podcast with himself, Derek, Kalisha Townsville when available. Otherwise, Teresa Ferries, of course, and Steve has jumped on board. They do a great job there. It's just absolutely awesome. It'd be fun to go on that show sometime. I've been so weird about weekends and all that, and I never know what my schedule is going to be half of the time now. So, I hate the threat of, you might have to work Saturday. You might have to just go away. I'm sick of hearing that. It'd be nice to have a day when you never have to hear that ever again, or just like here and there, you know, something like project or something, not like just work. Anyhow, enough of that life rant and whining. Derek on board at Crease and Assist says, this reminds me of of the time. That's Teresa, right? Yep, up Teresa. And I won a trip from the Minnesota Wild to Dan Laughlin's Riverside Resort and Casino, which is in Laughlin, Nevada. Ooh, that would be sweet. This trip happened the same year the Wild won the Northwest Division. Wow, yeah, that was way back in the day, wasn't it? We tried betting on the Wild's last regular season game versus Vancouver. So we asked the sportsbook folks if we could get the Wild Canucks game on one of the mini TVs showing in various sporting events around the world. The guy said, we're only showing the Flyers and Devils. We don't do on-demand hockey here in the desert. Ouch. Okay, that's up with that. What was I saying? Yeah. So that kind of reminded him because he's like, oh, wow, yep, because it's out in the desert. Yep, versus, yep, because I was showing that. Imagine seeing this playoff matchup looking at the future from 2014. It'd be like Utah and Vegas. So that gave him the reminder of a trip he won back in the day. So that had to be, that's when the Wild won the division. I forget if we had to play Anaheim that. Nope, Colorado. And then we lost. Yeah, what the? Oh, it's so frustrating. Won the division and lost to Colorado. A mediocre Colorado team at the time. It was decent, but they weren't that good. Next, excuse me. We tried to explain that an NHL team actually had paid for us to be at their casino, and he didn't believe us. But later, I also remember some Vegas website telling me they'd never have to pay for parking to go to a Golden Knights game. Well, they're paying to park. One last thought. The Arizona Coyotes should have moved to Utah far sooner than they did. Yeah, I think so too. But I think we're all glad but I think we're all glad that they won't. The drama is over for the organization. Yep, that they won't have to deal with it. Yep. Yeah, they won't have to deal with it anymore. Yes, the drama. It's too bad because and the Utah thing is working out pretty good. Yes, the fan base is excited. They're loyal. They're kind of, dare I say, it's kind of like Vegas where they're selling out the games all the time. But I'm guessing the hockey knowledge is, well, maybe not. it's maybe it's not great yet, but it can develop, and it's in the Southwest and all that. And let me tell you, if there was a location, if I could move to a different location, like if I was able to pick somewhere else, like say I'm sick of Minnesota, which I kind of am actually, but not necessarily the Wild or anything, but maybe the state, kind of sick of it. You want to go to somewhere else, not just because it's warmer, but maybe just drier too. In that case, I'd pick those two teams, those two cities, those two sites. Like if it was an NHL site I could move to in the NHL area, it'd be Utah or Vegas. Yes. Utah or Vegas. Probably Utah. I don't think it's as crazy there as Vegas. But, yes. As long as the Mormons don't come on their bikes and try to lock me up and say, convert to Mormonism before I breathe. Okay, no offense to Mormons. I'm just kidding. Okay, so I'm just kidding. I'm just joking about that. Because, we've had a few experiences, but they weren't bad. No, they were friendly. Just, I just got a kick out of the whole bicycle thing that they do. But, again, no disrespect. Enough, Joey. Stop it. Derek says, Iowa had a respectable finish. Yeah, they finally won a few games, kind of like the Vikings with McCarthy in the end there. Iowa had a respectable finish, but it's too bad they dug a hole so deep throughout the first half of the season. Yep, it was like post-mortem wins, right? I do think some of the younger players certainly progressed. Spacek, yep. Oh, Spacek, wonderful. Lambos and Haight especially. I couldn't agree more. I mean, those guys, wonderful, wonderful year. Really, like dead serious. They stepped up to the plate. And Hunter Haight looks like at least a bottom six NHLer, if not better. He looks like he's definitely becoming a legitimate. Well, I don't want to say legitimate AHL player, but yeah, I mean at the AHL level, he's definitely legit. And look at Spacek. In 59 games, 36 points, and just an overall wonderful number. Why? Where'd the plus minus go? What did they do here? They screwed it up. You bastards. Pardon my French. They screwed up all of that stuff. Don't you hate when they do that? Doggone it. I probably can just click on him. Yeah, he was a -1. But, I mean, again, on that team, a -1 is pretty high end. I mean, there's players on that team with a -20. So, and I remember years ago, there was other guys with -30. Former players and such. Hunter Haight, strong season. I think he was a -17, see? Yeah, and he was really good there, too. But Spacek, -1 and 36 points. That's a defenseman. Outstanding, to say the least. Yeah, Lambos. I know Lambos' plus-minus is really low, too. Yeah, well, he's a -4. Finished. It was like right around 0 most of the year. He was even a +5 last year, which is crazy. And he had the same amount of points, 19, but 8 goals versus 5 last year. Just less assists. That's kind of weird, but whatever. Strong year. I like Lambos. I like Spacek. I really want Spacek to skate with the Minnesota Wild because I think he's NHL level. I think he's a good player. So, yeah, great thoughts there. See if there's another one. I think that's the end of the lightning round for the Derek, but thank you, Derek. That was awesome. Continuing to any tests. Yeah, I was ranting about Mr. Robertson. I was like, bleep you, Robertson. Yeah, when he scored that, scored late to win it, basically. He bugs me. He just does. Any test says ugly ass man baby. Yep, I think it's just kind of that cocky kid look. Didn't every one of you growing up, like say, in school, whatever, you're a kid, and in gym class or whatever, there was always this preppy kid who would do well, and it just felt like he was kind of rubbing it in your face every time he did anything. That's kind of what Jason Robertson reminds me of. You just wanted to punch him, There was always that cocky kid, Yes, he's good, but he's kind of a jerk about it. That's kind of how I look at Jason Robertson. I could you can laugh at me all you want, but yeah. But then when you do beat him one-on-one, even if it's just 1 out of 5 times or something, it feels like $1 million. Anyhow, any test continues, says literally the ugliest team in the NHL. I hate them with every fiber of my being. Woo! Yeah, Matt Duchene's an ugly guy. There's no doubt. Jamie Benn, he drives everyone crazy. I was saying I can't stand them either. And he continues saying, I can only hope home ice flips this back in. We are clearly the better team. I wish. I mean, the problem with the Wild is at home, they just don't. They underachieve at home. That's the problem. Historically, this team has underachieved at home in the postseason. It really is. Now, I'm sure somebody's making fun of me here. Stars fans and Avalanche fans, most unlikable fans in hockey. There, I said it. Good night. And then the person says, bold take to drop a hockey hot mic, and then peace out. I know, somebody's just making fun of me, I'm sure. Can't see what's going on. Oh, yeah, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. I'm guessing he's probably from Dallas. Thinks I'm a dummy or whatever. I don't care. Bold take. Bold take to drop a hockey hot mic and then peace out. I don't know if he liked it or not. Well, a lot of people did like it. Okay, I'm guessing he's making fun of me. And that's okay. And then somebody's giving me tears or whatever. I know, I'm just a crybaby. I'm such a wimp, I know. Jeremy does the laughing evil. Pretty sure he's a Dallas fan. I'm 99% sure. Yeah, that was after the bleep you, Jason Robertson. It was the Skeletor doing the evil laugh. Okay, thank you very much. At least you have some taste because it's back in the day, not some modern thing. So, Skeletor, of course, from He-Man. What else is going on? Yep, Rebecca Johnson. Okay, yep. I was saying we cannot win a face-off. Morty responds simply with, because we suck at it. And I was like, that's for damn sure. Yeah, we do. We do suck at the face-off. We suck at the face-off. Rebecca Johnson replying, what did I just click on? This doesn't make any sense. I have no idea what I just clicked on. Okay, whew. I was saying the most frustrating part of all is how this team absolutely never gets it done at home in the postseason. It's unacceptable. Rebecca Johnson says, absolutely. No shows in the playoffs. I agree, Rebecca. Medicine Lake, Minnesota. Cool. That's pretty close to here. I'll give a follow. Please follow back, please. Yes. Yep. Medicine Lake, Minnesota. Cool. I like that. I like that. Where's the other comments? Funky Town Frog. You could have just stopped at never gets it done. Hell, go ahead and include the Twins and Vikings in there as well. I agree. I agree. I don't know what they're laughing at, but no, yeah, the Twins and Vikings as well. The Wolves have finally done something here and there. They've had some nice overachieving, like winning a series when you're a 6 and a 3 last year. That was pretty cool. Pretty cool. So at least they did something. Bama 1776. I like that. says, well, I agree. I will say this. Game 2, the game-winning goal was scored on the midget on defense called the captain. That would be Spurgeon. I can point out every play in a series that he got beat in a series, that he got out-muscled in front of the net. He can't hack it in the playoffs. Please retire, number 46. Yep, I've been frustrated with that over the years. I mean, even way back the 2014 Colorado series, I wrote I don't think he was anything much. But then he ended up scoring a clutch goal. It was crazy. But so I mean, that's not like a bad take. No, I can understand the frustration, and I will give a follow back. And I can understand the frustration there. I can, because well, he's another guy who's been here forever, and been a part of the 99 first round exits. So there should be some frustration. Looks like a little sarcasm when I was not necessarily at me. I think it's the person after. I was saying demoralizing. You wait that long for nothing. Same BS every year. Mike Mills says there isn't any other team in the West they wouldn't have beaten in a first round series. And then unrepresented says okay. Says oh okay. Meaning he's probably saying like what we'd beat Colorado. So yeah, I mean, I can understand that's not going to be easy. So, fun interaction there. That was more than worth it. Lots of interaction there. Really appreciate it. And want to thank all of you so much for interacting with me on this show. We can all share in the frustration, but would like to share in victory as well. I wish we could share celebration and be happy here if the Wild can beat the Dallas Stars. Because not only getting out of the first round, but beating the Dallas Stars in the process. Knocking the Dallas Stars out would be oh so beautiful and oh so sweet, to say the least, if that could take place. It really would. I'm sure the Flyers fans are going to feel the same if they can get past the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're their in-state arch rival, the Pittsburgh Penguins. They can't stand each other. It's just kind of goofy how it's like 7-8 basically in a first-round series in the Eastern Conference. It's kind of goofy, but it happens sometimes, I guess, because the way the divisions are lined up. Yay, 7-8 in the first round. Or it's more like 6-7, actually, right? Because Ottawa, I think, has a worse record, actually, but still, it's goofy. Or no, they don't. They don't. Ottawa's record's slightly better. So goofy. It is, if I remember correctly. But, or 6 versus 8, something like that. But one way or another, thank you, MNW Young Guns. Obviously, a huge shout out to them. MNW Young Guns / Prospects. Love that. Love you guys so much. That's obviously on Twitter and Facebook. Pavel Burnett, Justin Bakke. I mentioned that Creases, his podcast, Minnesota Wild Global. Thank you so much for being a part of things, and congratulations to the Flyers going up 3-0. That's flashing around on the screen. That'd be a nice underdog team in the Eastern Conference if something can happen there. Wild versus Flyers in the Cup Finals. That would be cool, man. That'd be the coolest thing ever. It'd be quite an underdog series right there. But with that said, thank you again so much for listening. Please tell your friends about the show. Spread it around. Hope I'm not too annoying and bitchy and all that. Hope I'm giving you a decent product here on the show and not just ranting and sounding goofy. With that said, but again, we will be back in a week or less. Schedule might be a little bit sporadic, but yep, I'm not full-time lawn service anymore. Maybe a little bit on the weekends here and there. We'll see what happens. And of course, the weather is this and the weather is that. But we'll do our best to keep up with this postseason, and hopefully the Wild can survive this. And we'll be talking about a Wild, victory in the series or close to a victory in the series, depending on how far in we go for the next episode, if it is the next Thursday. Otherwise, take care, God bless, and go Minnesota Wild.